Okay, so I want to talk about jobs. Well, here's the thing. Dude, can I be straight with you, bro? Is there anything I could say about this horrendous jobs report that you would not expect me to say? I guess what I appreciate about these continually terrible, I guess, here's what I'll say. Actually, here's the angle I'll take on the jobs report. Do you remember how 1 month ago, in the last jobs report, Donald Trump fired BLS Commissioner Erica McIntarfer because she was obviously a woke Democrat plant who was bringing the jobs numbers down, and that he was going to have good numbers then? And then he fired her, and now 1 month later, the job numbers are still terrible. In fact, it wasn't really her. They're just bad. Although it scares me because Howard Lutnick is saying that the jobs number will get more accurate. Let's see if we can get the
president himself said this week that if the Supreme Court doesn't rule in his favor, it would be very, very bad for America. If the Supreme Court doesn't rule that these tariffs are valid.
Wait, I'm kind of interested in this question only because, again, this is about the court striking down the legality of the tariffs. Because if the Supreme Court holds that up, the U.S. has to pay a refund to everybody that paid a tariff. And obviously, Howard Lutnick will be pro-tariffs here, but it's funny that he has made massive bets, or his family has made massive bets, that tariffs will get struck down. And he stands to make millions and millions of dollars if the tariffs are struck down.
Well, let's take a look at the decision that was 7-4 against us in the district court. The lead judge on the bench sided with Donald Trump. The judge before, who was the lead judge, sided with Donald Trump. The new judge that's coming in to direct the bench sided with Donald Trump. And the smartest judge on the bench sided with Donald Trump. I think if you read the dissent, you will see.
Okay, but what about the majority of the other judges? That's why it's called a vote. Can you imagine, like, if you're running for class president and you lose the vote, 12 vote against you, 4 vote for you? The smartest kid voted for me. That teacher's son voted for you. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? You can't just pick the 4 and describe their praises. You lost the vote.
What happens if they strike that down?
So the 232, so everything we just did with Japan, that holds, right? That's durable, that stays. Europe, that stays. These are autos, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors.
Just to be clear, I mean, that's not a good answer, because if the Supreme Court strikes down Trump's ability to impose tariffs, then obviously the deals he did with Japan where he imposed tariffs will not stay. They're not durable. Obviously, that's the whole point. Dude, this reminds me. So Mark Zuckerberg was on a hot mic today.
How much are you spending, would you say, over the next few years?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, at least $600 billion through 28 in the U.S. Yeah.
It's a lot.
No, it's significant. Sorry, I wasn't ready to do our for announcement.
He said I wasn't sure what number you wanted to say.
They kind of want hot mic be like, dude, I don't know what. No, he just said $600 billion. And that's what these numbers, like, they're just making up these numbers. Like, Japan's going to put $500 billion into America. There's no validity to it. There's nobody's just taking $500 billion and doing what you want in the country. I wasn't sure what number you wanted to go with. Like, he's asking you how much you plan to invest in America. You should know that, but he's just saying whatever Trump wants him to say. Is that Bill Gates? Yeah, Bill Gates is, dude, I don't think we have time. But on your own, if you're interested, watch Bill Gates's speech at this dinner. It's very snarky. I mean, he's still there. He's still glazing Trump like everyone else. But like, he's saying things in a way where it's very funny is all I'll say. It's very like, it's light jabs. I was trying to find this Lutnick interview anymore. Let's watch a little bit more of it because I did want to see him talk about the jobs.
Hey, Mr. Secretary, we're going to hear these jobs numbers. Has there been a meaningful change to the methodology with which we should see in these numbers? And should we think they're more credible than they were a month ago?
Well, I think you take the noise out, meaning if the leader is bent against Donald Trump, then they're going to have, such errors, and those things are bent. We've seen that in all sorts of agencies. They're rooting against America, and against Donald Trump, and that's got to end. So he can't replace somebody, 2 weeks ago, and you expect fundamental change. But what you will get is an agency that's on side, just trying to do the best and put out the correct numbers.
Yeah, I'll just say, this is like all minutes before the numbers came out, and they were still terrible. Again, this is one of the worst jobs. I mean, we're now having back-to-back terrible jobs reports that are confirming that unemployment continues to rise. We're in a no fire, some fire, no hire economy. And the labor market is just fracturing. It's just bad. It's not good.
Actually, they don't want someone who's there to win. They just want somebody who's there going to give them the most accurate, timely numbers that possibly exist. Just accuracy is probably the only thing that they want. And so what I'm asking is today, when we see those numbers, whether we should believe they're accurate.
Yeah, it is crazy. Actually, when you really think about what he was saying, it's like, we're going to get someone in there who really wants Donald Trump to win. But that's exactly what you don't want. You want someone who just says what it is. How many jobs are there? How high is the unemployment rate?
I think they'll get better because he'll take out the people who are just trying to create noise against the president. Take out the people trying to create noise. Let's get the accurate numbers, because this is going to be the greatest growth economy, right? 6 months from now, a year from today, as these trillions of dollars of plants and factories. You've seen all these pictures. There are just so many factories going in, the employment situation in America.
So I wanted to follow up on that. I took a look at manufacturing employment in America. And since Liberation Day, manufacturing employment is down by 42,000 jobs. It has not grown. I don't know where these factories are or what's opening up, but it's down. In fact, all job sectors except for healthcare are down. If you are not working in healthcare, you are finding it harder every month to find a job. It's becoming more difficult. If you're young, the unemployment rate just hit 10%, which may not sound like a lot to you, but understand that the Great Depression was like 20%. Okay, actually, let me confirm. It's 25%. But we're at 10 with young. That's very high. That's very high. Okay, that's the worst part. The peak of the Great Depression was 25. It's just, I don't know how to say it's. I think I've said it in Slowly All at Once and in Max Stupid and in those videos. Like, I've said what I think about this, but I think the unemployment rate is going to continue to rise. And unless they literally start faking the numbers. And Trump, despite saying we have the greatest economy ever, just, months ago, when the jobs numbers look good, is now saying that it was all Biden's fault and things will get better next year.
Well, I heard, and we were on a very downward path with Biden, and I heard that the most we could do is 1% GDP, and now I'm hearing 3.2% and 3.5% and all. And our big year won't be really next year. I think it'll be the year after, because when these plants start opening up, it takes a period of time to build them. We're going to have tremendous job growth.
Okay, so he's predicting, so actually not even next year, the year after. So give it a few years. But yeah, this jobs report is undercutting Trump's claims of a booming economy. And I think enough said. It's only going to get worse. But so many countries have said America's so hot right now. Yeah, I know. You can believe it. How long until the emperor has no clothes people can feel this, right? Yeah, I mean, listen, just to be clear, the issue he is most underwater on in polling, I talk about this, but the issue he's most underwater on is cost of living, is trade, is the economy. Like, people are mad about these things. And I do think it'll have a serious impact in 2026. I mean, the Democrats have been horrendous at capitalizing on the moment. They've been horrendous at, pushing a platform, but what doesn't... I'm of the opinion that it almost won't matter, that people flip so hard on this. This decides elections. If there's an election, if election is run normally. This is only going to get worse. As unemployment ticks up, what if we have falling housing prices, or if we have stock market go down? Like, people will get, half of what's keeping the economy going is the wealth effect of people who have a house that's way up in price and stocks that are up in price, spending money like crazy. If they stop spending, it's over. Housing prices going static for a while would probably be good. Housing prices need to go down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not against that. But what people who Twitch chat often don't seem to recognize is that housing prices going down only comes with a lot of economic pain and lost jobs and disaster and in the short term. Like, they have to come down eventually, of course, but it destroys retirements. It's like 2007 or 8. You know, it's like you can't bring housing prices down cleanly.